Yeah, everything that flies quite high and has some novelty or some experimental nature to it depends on weather. You were used to hearing this satellite launch was delayed because of high winds or some weather issues. That happens with rockets a lot. It also happens with high altitude balloons. There's certain conditions that have to be made to operate safely, and we will not mess with that. But it's very interesting because in the last 10 years or so, we humans have done a tremendous job at characterizing the winds on the lower troposphere for wind energy, and we were working with that same data set to find what are the best places in the world to launch from, the places where you have less issues with wind. And it's almost the opposite. If you wanted to put a wind farm, you look for something. If you want to launch high altitude human-rated balloons, you would look exactly for the opposite thing. So it's relatively easy, and we know where those spots are, and there's plenty of those in the world.
Where will Bloon launch from?
We haven't announced a place. We've had discussions with several local governments and constituencies. Ideally, we would like to have several places around the world. I mean, we think there's plenty of things to be seen from above. One of the ways that an orbital flight is superior to our system is that you get to see almost the whole planet as you spin. We can't offer that it would be a very long balloon flight, very complicated. But you can fly several times on several parts of the world. Spain is a great candidate. We're a Spain-based company. The airspace is easy to, it's not too crowded. There's some restricted airspace areas, not too much population density. And also the view is amazing because you get to see the Strait of Gibraltar, you see the Africa, Europe, the Mediterranean, the Atlantic. There's mountains like the Pyrenees or Sierra Nevada, the original Sierra Nevada, not the one from California. That's where I went skiing when I was a kid. And it's a very diverse landscape. I mean, we've seen it on our test flights. Spain is a really good place to do this thing. And we get a lot of high net worth individuals coming anyway to Marbella, Ibiza, some art galleries in Madrid or in Barcelona. So we do have that attractiveness as a country for the sort of folks that would take a ride on Bloon. It's highly unlikely we will fly somewhere where there's really not, that the landscape is dull or there's not much to see. I think it's important that there's some diversity on the area you fly from, and also it's important that it's well connected, and anyway you have these potential customers coming. Somewhere in California would be probably a really cool place to do it too.
It's amazing. You use the phrase ethical space flight. Can you tell us what that means to you?
In general, business is taking ethics more seriously in the 21st century than before. When I was working at the Boeing company, I had to do ethics training all the time. Every few months I had to go on a computer and do ethics training so that the corporate lawyers were happy. It's not that what I meant by ethical spaceflight. I think it's not just elevating people up and flying pretty high, but also taking into consideration how you do it. If you're launching rockets on slave labor, it's probably impressive from a technological point of view, but it's not very ethical. We saw some examples in the last century of that. So I think flying up has to be done in a way that takes into account all aspects of the operation, and also the environment, the workforce, the effect on the community you're flying. If you're throwing a lot of toxic waste on the drinking water of a community, I can't care less how amazing your rocket ship is. That's not ethical spaceflight to me. And I think for successful business in the 21st century, those things have to be looked at face front. I mean, not as an afterthought. Okay, oh, we will plant some trees to offset. No, you try to figure out a way to do it right away if you think you're going to do some harm.